What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Chunky. Today we are going to be taking apart a Nintendo 64 and we're going to be making it region free. Now, this right here is not the Nintendo 64 that we're going to be breaking down. This is my childhood 64. My dad has had this, and I've had this since about 1998 when I was born. So that is one of the very few consoles on Nintendo 64 that I don't have a second one. I don't have a duplicate until last week. So I bought a super fancy, nice, clear blue Nintendo 64. Now, unfortunately, this 64 is Japanese. So I bought this from Japan, but the way that the region locking worked in the Nintendo 64 was just on the cartridges, and subsequently only on the cartridge slot inside of the Nintendo 64. So the internals are basically exactly the same, except for the cartridge slot. So that's the only thing you really need to change out. So luckily, once we do this experiment, this should play all of my games. So let's do it. Basically, to start, all you're going to need is a 4.5 millimeter, I believe this is 4.5 millimeters, a security bit, or a game bit, a lot of places call them. You can get them on Amazon for you can get a pack of different sizes of them for like $7. It's really cheap. You're going to need some type of Phillips head at some point. You're going to need something to pry out the jumper pack on the Nintendo 64. So I have my tweezers there, and of course you're going to need a tray. There is already one of these inside of a Nintendo 64, so of course you can buy an OEM one and replace it inside of here. You can buy an OEM one from a North American system, or you can I could of course switch these out from my American system and play on North American games on this 64, but I want to play both because I bought a lot of Nintendo 64 games from Japan that would otherwise be really, really expensive to get the American counterparts. So I bought this on eBay for like $6 on it's just 3D printed, so I hope it works. Let's do it. So to start out, all you have to do is take out, let's see, there are 6 screws. There's 2 screws here at the top, 2 screws at the bottom, and 2 in the middle here on either side. Don't be scared when these start to fall out like I was. I was like, oh my god, this thing's falling apart right on me before we even start. So, yeah, I took out the screws already just to, just for the sake of time. I mean, really, it's it. All this is the only reason you need the game bit. Nintendo used game bits a lot in their older consoles, and especially cartridges, if you want to open those up to clean those. So the next part we need to do, take off the clip, and don't lose this because you won't find another one. OEM, and take our pry tool and just pry the jumper cable, and by jumper cable I mean jumper pack, right on out of there. And if you did everything correctly, it should just lift up like this. So the internal system, you don't really need to touch for this experiment here. All you really need to do is mess with this part here, but if you really want to, you can go ahead and take a bunch of these screws out and go ahead and clean your system. I should probably do that to my North American 64 because it's, you know, it's probably 25 years old now at this point, so 25 years of dirt buildup. So what you're left with is the top part of the Nintendo 64. So luckily nothing really falls out of this unless you want to mess with the buttons at all. But we have 2 Phillips head screws right here. I'm sure you all cannot see this, but 2 Phillips head screws right here to unscrew, and I will do that now. Should probably set it to unscrew. All right, so that's it. Take off this plastic part, and I doubt you can see right here, but right here is where you see the slots on the cartridge. This is where this is where the cartridge, Lord, would slide in and be locked into these little divots. And again, you can't see it, but the region free has no slots. So really good if you're attempting to do what we are doing here. So all you need to do is you need to figure out which side is the front. So the side with this little missing notch is the front, and it'll slide right in here with that notch. You can screw it back in and put your system together. All right, so this is what we're left with. I got a blue one just because the system's blue. Not quite the same blue, but it'll do. It's not like you're gonna see it or anything anyway. So now we can take this and we can either toss it or keep it around just in case for whatever reason you need another one for more experimentation. So I guess I'll keep that around. And now just put this, fashion it back on here, make sure everything fits correctly. So one thing I just saw here is that right in here, the power switch, obviously there has to be some kind of divot so you can actually switch it. I didn't realize that. So it should be in the off position. Make sure you hold it in the off position. You can slide it in there and it'll go right away. That's what I was having problems with. All right. Now we can put in the jumper cable and or jumper pack, and then we'll be it. Actually, you know what? I have an expansion pack in this Nintendo 64. I'm looking to retire this one, honestly. I don't ever want this one to die. So I'm going to use the Japanese one that we just region modded, essentially. So I'm gonna put this memory expansion pack into the Japanese 64, plug her in there, and we can do the opposite with the American 64. So now I can't put Majora's Mask on the 64, which is fine. So we can put the feet back on, and basically we have a completed system. So that's it. That's really all you have to do. So now all you have to do is put the screws back in, and you can play whatever game. Let me go get some games, and I will show you that they all should fit in here with absolutely no problems. BRB.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we have 2 games that I can pick from here. And by pick from, I mean demonstrate. So one, this used to be a Japanese console. I have Japanese Mario 64. Slide her in. Works just fine. American Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, Pro Skater 2, put her in, works just fine. So as long as the system isn't busted, and I know it's not because I have used it, everything should work. So all you have to do is take your 4.5mm security bit and screw all these terrible screws back in. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit from this kind of weird tutorial. This is the first time I've ever done a teardown like this. I'm trying to get better at it, so hopefully I can make more videos like this, because I really do like making little tiny modifications to systems like this, especially easy ones where you just unscrew something and screw another part back in, an unofficial part, but a new part. And I've basically unlocked the ability to play all of my Nintendo 64 games, and it's really good because a lot of the more expensive Nintendo 64 games have a lot cheaper Japanese counterparts, like Super Smash Brothers, for example. You don't really need to read Japanese in order to play Smash, because you kind of know what all the characters are. So so there's benefits to it, and maybe we'll do another one like this in the future. But please let me know down in the comments if this tutorial worked for you, and like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more content like this all the time. We'll see you in the next one.